Hi, and happy Friday. We will get started in just a second. If you join watching the live, please feel free to leave a comment and let us know where you are watching from. Let me set these things up so that you can see everything, and then we will get started. Just to give you a little reminder, since it is still the month of March, you have a couple of options. We are going to make 4 cards today in our card kit, and if you place an order of $35 or more, I will send you a card kit to make the cards that we make today as a thank you gift. In addition to that, if your order is for $50 or more, I will also include the embellishments, which are the Faceted Gems Trio Pack. In the card kit that I send you for $35, it will include all of the paper and everything will be cut, die cut. We don't have any embossing today, but everything, all the pieces will be there so that you can assemble it, and it will include ribbon, but it will not include these embellishments. So if you would like a pack of these embellishments, these are really pretty. If you place an order for $50, then I will send you that. In addition to that, I still have a few of the celebration items left over. I have some of the friendly seagulls, the beautiful butterflies, the fruit salad, the toadstool paper, and the embellishments that go with that. And I also have 1 or 2 of the alphabet a la mode dies. And so if your order is $60, or for every $60 that you order, I will include at least 1 of these celebration products with your order. And once I see your order come through, I will email you to ask which one you would like. And since March is my birthday month, and I am going to extend this through Tuesday, April 1st, since that is the special that we are running to get the card kit. If your order is $75 or more, I will also include for you a little bag with my favorite adhesives. So you will get the mini Stampin' Dimensionals, mini glue dots, and a bottle of the multi-purpose glue. So if you would like to get a celebration, this, plus the card kit, then your order needs to be $75. And if it is, say, $120, then you will get all of that plus an additional celebration item. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them. Let me grab what we are going to be using today, because I didn't move my adhesives over or any of that fun stuff. So, all right, so here is our host code for today. We are going to be using the Everyday You and Me stamp set. I also use the dies, but honestly, if you don't have the dies, you could always fussy cut around these. These are easy images to cut around. So if you want to do that, you can do that. Just to let you know, in addition to what we have going on here, if you would like to join my email list, you can go to inkycreationsbylinda.com and you can join my email list there. Also, fix this light so you can see. Also, if you would like to see different card kits that I have available every month, if you join my email list, you will see those. This month, I just started advertising for my club for April, and in order to get the card kit to make these, you will need to sign up by April 15th, but it is a subscription-based club. However, if you do not want to do the subscription, there is an option to do a one-time purchase of this card kit. And in this, we will be using the mixed media florals bundle and the labels bundle. Oh my goodness, they're so pretty. You will not need the die cuts because I will send everything to you, and you can either fussy cut it or you can have the dies. So if you are interested in this card kit, if you'll go to my website, you will see, you will see a tab for the monthly card club, and you can get more information there. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will be happy to get with you. All right, so let's start our first card for today. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I will bring it back down whenever we get to the end so that you can see that information again if you're interested. So the first card that we are going to make, and I am going to tell you right now that I do not have all of these measurements. I will try to give them to you as we go along, but I have these written down in the other room, and I just don't have them on the card kit with me. So as you can tell, I have already die cut some of these images out so that you don't have to watch me die cut everything. So the first thing we have is a piece of Pretty Peacock. And this is, hey Donna, this is beautiful cardstock. I love this color. It's probably one of my favorite colors. And in this Pretty Peacock, we have a piece of the Designer Series paper. And this one is 3 3/4 by 5. So we are going to take that. No, we are not. I started to say we are going to glue that down. But before we do that, we're going to wrap some ribbon around it. So you also will have this small piece of DSP. And this one is a 1/2 inch by 5 inches. And so we are going to glue this to the other Designer Series paper before we put it onto here. So let's just put a little bit of adhesive on here. I hope you guys have had a good week. It has been just kind of crazy around here. Work has been really busy. I'm ready for things to slow down a little bit, but I'm not sure if that ever really happens. But it's all good. All right, so we are just going to adhere that to where there's a little bit of an edge left. And then we are going to take, I love this ribbon, and it's actually on the last chance list right now, but it's a white frayed ribbon, and it just has a really unique edge to it. So we are going to take this and wrap this around here and then glue it down, but I'm actually going to use the double-sided tape, and let me grab that. This is what happens when you work right up until the minute that you're starting everything. So I meant to stop a little bit early today, and I just didn't get that done. So all right, so I am going to, this is a trick that somebody showed me, and I do it all the time now, and I just love it. So when I'm going to attach something to the back, I will use the double-sided tape and just put a little bit on each edge, and then we will peel off the backing. If I can get it to peel. There we go. There's one. And here's the other one. And then I'm going to take my ribbon. Let me turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take my ribbon and just kind of press it down on the back. And then down here, I'm going to wrap it around and then do the same thing on this end without sticking my finger to it. There we go. And then just kind of trim it on the back with your snips. Okay? And then now it's adhered. So to make sure that it stays down, in case you're worried about that, because there's nothing worse than sending someone a card and it falls apart on them, I'm going to take another piece of the tear and tape, and I am just going to press this down over the edge that's already on there and do that on both pieces. And that way it kind of gives it a double layer of just protection and making sure that it doesn't pop up. If you want to remove the backing off of this, you can. I'm actually going to use dimensionals to put this on the card, so I'm not really going to worry about that. You can also place dimensionals over the edges of the ribbon to help secure this, but I am going to put it down like this. So let me get my larger dimensionals. And it looks like I'm almost out of these. That's usually the way it works. You know, you think you're going to do a video and you have everything ready, and then you go to grab something and there's only a couple, but it's okay. So we can also, in addition to using the edges, we can also grab another sheet if we run out. So I use the edges of my dimensionals a lot because there's still a lot of good dimensional there, and their machines just wouldn't take it all the way to the edge, which is understandable. All right, so then I'm just going to kind of center this and put this onto the card. But I just love these colors together. I think Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock are just gorgeous. All right, so now you will have a tag in your kit. And this actually comes from the Birthday Celebrations set. And so I am going to use Lost Lagoon ink and stamp So Much Joy on this tag. So this is kind of fun because you could use this as a birthday card, as a congratulations card, anything that you just want to share joy with someone. And I really like this stamp set. I just think it's really good for a lot of different types of occasions, which is always fun. I'm going to leave that out because I'm going to be using that again. So I'm going to use dimensionals, and I'm also going to put this here, and I'm going to move it down just a little, but I am going to use dimensionals on this and have it go just to the edge of the DSP. I don't really want to go past that, but I do want to go to the edge of that. So let's throw some of those on here. And I think this is where I'm going to get out my snips and start cutting on this. And so then we end up with little strips, which is absolutely okay. So we will put this on our card front. And just pop it up right here. I will tell you that using so many dimensionals will cause you to have to put extra postage on your envelopes if you're mailing these. So if you're not a big fan of supporting the post office, then you might want to make it a little more flat. But I like the extra dimensionals, so that's what I usually tend to use. So, all right, so we are going to use in your stamp set. It's kind of nice because we have all of these different sizes of flowers, and they're all really pretty. We're going to be using this one primarily today. I didn't mix and match them because I didn't want to have to remember which one I used where. So I just used this one on all of them, but you can use as many or as few as you like. The other thing that I really like about this stamp set is it has these little spatter inks, which is really nice. And then you also have this one right here that's like a swipe. But there's a lot of really pretty things in here, which is kind of fun. So let's see. We are going to use Lost Lagoon ink and stamp one flower. And you're not going to have to watch me die cut, so that's the good news. And then I'm going to use Wild Wheat ink and stamp the leaves because that's the color that's in the DSP. And so we are going to use that. So we'll go ahead and stamp 2 leaves. And then Normally, we would die cut these out, but with the magic of video, they've already been done. So we are just going to adhere these to our card and put them on there. So I am going to put the flower first, and then I'm going to tuck the leaves underneath it. So I am going to put this up on a dimensional just so, and I'm going to use the smaller ones so that I can kind of work the leaves around them. And I don't want to have large dimensionals to where I can't get that to work in. So that's why I am using the smaller ones. All right, so then we are just going to kind of put this right here, and then I'm going to use a mini glue dot. I think I am, if I can find them. Here they are. To attach these leaves. So we will put one right here, and then we will put the other one kind of trailing downward from this. Whoops, if I can get it to undo. There we go. And so we will kind of tuck this over here. And then we will use our Faceted Trio Gems to decorate this. And these come in like 3 different colors. So it's like a smoky slate, a white, and then the Lost Lagoon color. And I just really feel like the colors in this match this really well. So we are going to use the Lost Lagoon ones for this particular card and just kind of place a few of these. I'm not going to do a ton of them because they're kind of big and I don't want to make it too incredibly bulky. So we're just going to do that. So here is card number 1. So at the end, I'll show you all 4 and you can tell me which one is your favorite. All right, so our next card is one that kind of, it's a 4 1/4 by 11 card, and it's scored at 5 1/2. And so this one has more, it opens like this instead of your traditional card that we normally make. So this is just the thick white cardstock is what this is made out of. And then you have a piece of the Lost Lagoon. And this is 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then this one, I believe, is 3 by 5 1/2. Yes. So we are going to glue this designer series paper onto your Lost Lagoon and just attach those together. And then we'll attach this to the middle of the card front. So we will throw some glue back here. Trying to get this straight. Some days I feel like my eyes just do not want to get it straight for me. There we go. All right, and then we will go ahead and, I think, yes, I just glued this one flat because the label that we're going to be putting on here is going to have dimensionals. So I just glued all of this flat onto the card base. There we go. I love this paper. This gingham is just super fun. I'm actually working on some scrapbook pages right now using this set, and I just really, really like this. I think it's so pretty. All right, so then we have a label that I cut from the Countryside Corners bundle. So we are going to use that, and we are going to use our wild wheat ink, and we're going to stamp the word happy on here. So this is another one of those fun cards that you can kind of, you know, use it for multiple occasions. It doesn't have to be like a specific thing like birthday or whatever. You can just make it for whatever happy occasion you want to celebrate with someone. Okay, I tried to get that straight, but it's sometimes a little more challenging whenever I don't want to hit the phone so that you don't feel like you just went through a tornado. All right, and then I am going to use a scratch sheet of paper, and I am going to stamp with the Lost Lagoon ink. And I tell you what, I'm going to use a piece of paper underneath this just so I don't wind up with ink all over my glass mat. So I am going to stamp, this is the So Much Joy that we used earlier, but what we're going to do is we only want the word so and much, because we're going to put on our card so much happy. So we're going to do that, and then we will use our snips, and we will cut out the words so and much. So let me close that up so I don't put my fingers in it. And then just kind of fussy cut around this. Sometimes these little block letters are just really cute. They're, you know, they're just kind of standard and not super challenging, and I don't know, they just add a little bit of emphasis. So we are going to adhere, let me just set that there. We are going to adhere our label kind of on the upper portion of the front of this card. And so I am going to put dimensionals underneath. No, I'm not. I'm going to glue this. Did I glue this flat? I did. So I'm going to glue this flat, but then I'm going to pop up the so much, and I'm going to pop up the flowers. So let's just put some adhesive on here. And I just kind of put this in the middle because I know it's going to fall over on the lip, and I don't want to have like to where it looks like it was wrapped around. So, and this is where, if your DSP is cut straight, which is the goal whenever I send this to you, you can kind of line this, which is nice. So then it just goes right along that line to where hopefully it's straight. All right, so now we're going to take some of our small or mini dimensionals and put these on the back of the so much. Get one more. Here we go. And we are just going to, whoops, helps if we put it right side up. We are going to just put this right here so that whoever we send this card to knows that we are not just happy, we are very happy for their accomplishment. And then we are going to take some of this ribbon, and we are just going to cut off a little piece and make like a little, almost like a banner, or a blue ribbon banner is what it kind of reminds me of. So I am just going to kind of snip this, and then I will trim it off here in just a few minutes. So what I want to do, and you will have, I didn't put any in this packet. You will have scratch paper, and you can stamp a Lost Lagoon flower and 2 of the wild wheat leaves. And so I can't seem to pick that one up. So you will have the stuff to do that. But for the sake of time, I did stamp and die cut these ahead of time. So what I'm going to do is on the back of this, I'm going to use just a little bit of my tear and tape so that we can attach this ribbon behind here. And so I'm just going to kind of put this just along the middle and then go ahead and peel off that backing. And then I'm going to take my ribbon and just kind of do it like that and then make it to where this is kind of sticking out from the ribbon. And then you can position it however you want. I think I actually want this to be just a little more spread out. So let's see if we can do it like this. There we go. And then we'll just have to trim the edges. So then, and then we'll trim the edges, and it kind of gives it just a little bit different feel than just a normal bow. If you want to hold it in place, you can flip it over and put a dimensional on it, which is what I think we will do. I am going to use, because, you know, I ran out of the big ones, and so I just cut a bunch in strips. So I'm going to use 2 of these little strips and just tack this down a little bit. There we go. And then that way it kind of holds it in place so that it doesn't move on me once I put it on the card. If I can pull this off. There we go. And so I am just going to tuck this in the corner, and then we'll go ahead and trim our ribbon. So we'll do this one like right here. And then it'll look kind of like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like the old-fashioned blue ribbons that you used to see like at a state fair or I grew up in Louisiana and we had parishes. So we used to have a parish fair every year, and you'd see people get these little prizes. So we'll do that, and then we're going to just tuck in with some glue dots the leaves underneath the flower, just to kind of give it a little bit of a natural feel. And then we'll do one up the side. And, you know, the nice thing is, too, with this being, move this one so it doesn't cover up the H. With this being, you know, the Lost Lagoon, if you didn't want to use the wild wheat, there's a lot of other colors that you could use. I'm going to trim this off just a little bit so that I can get this a little closer and not cover up my H. Well, there we go. So, you know, that's the nice thing. And so if you didn't want to use wild wheat, you could pick, I don't know, Pretty Peacock, or even like a green or something like that if you wanted to do a different color leaf. So then we'll put some embellishments on here. And again, I think I'm going to use some of the Lost Lagoon ones just because they're really pretty and they kind of match what's going on here color-wise. But I love these embellishments. These are, I remember when these first came out, and I just thought they were so pretty. And you know what's really cool about these that you can do too is you can use the blends and the lighter color ones. Well, these are actually like a smoky slate, but these are more white. You can use your blends and color them, and then they will be different colors. So I did a Christmas set last year, and I used these, and I colored them with like a Night of Navy, and oh my gosh, they just came out so fun and so different. So anyway, so here is card number 2. So just kind of a fun, simple card. And then, of course, you can write whatever message you would like to on the inside. But that is card number 2. So our third card, I'm saving the one that I like the best for last. So our third card is one that says so much joy. And so we are going to use this. I really like this designer series paper. It's just really fun and, I don't know, a little bit different than some of our other, but yet at the same time, it's still just really colorful and pretty. But we have a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock that is scored at 5 1/2 that opens portrait. And then, is that the, yeah, that's the right way. And then you'll have a piece of Lost Lagoon that is 5 by 3 3/4. And then you will have a piece of DSP that is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So we're going to adhere this to this piece right here. And so let's just put some glue on here. And even the paper on the back is so cute. Fun stuff. But this one is kind of neat because it not only has the wild weed in it, but it has the grays and the pebbled path and all of that. So this paper is really fun. All right, so now we are going to take our white ribbon and we are going, whoops, I knew I saw that happen earlier and I didn't know where it went. So that's the one bad thing about this ribbon is if you catch one of the edges on something, it will start kind of fraying. And so that's probably why it says that it's frayed ribbon. So we are going to put this across here and layer this. So again, I'm going to use my double-sided tape and attach everything on the back. So let's just grab a couple of pieces of that. Make sure I'm putting this in the right place. All right, so now I'm just going to, just like we did before, I'm going to take my ribbon and just kind of wrap it around and then do the same thing here and then just fold it and press it down and then use my scissors and go ahead and trim this off. Whoops. See, there's that frayed piece that I was working with earlier. So we are going to use dimensionals to put this on here. So I'm also going to use the dimensionals to kind of cover this up. So let me grab some, I'm going to do a couple of longer strips just so I can really cover up some of these edges a little better. All right, so let's see. I think this was a longer one. Yep. So I'm going to take this and just kind of put this over the ribbon to adhere that down. And same thing with here. And then I still want to put some dimensionals kind of toward the bottom and in the other corners. So I'm going to do one right there. And then we will do some here and another one here, and then we'll put one kind of in the middle just to give it a little bit more support. So this is the nice thing about these dimensionals. You know, it can be what I would call unattractive on the back, but luckily nobody's ever going to see that part of it. They're just going to see the front. All right. And so then we are just going to put this on here. And you know, sometimes I can't talk, sorry. It is kind of nice to do the tone on tone because it gives it just enough dimension, but yet it's not popping out at you. And so you will have a label in your kit that you are going to use. When you do this, I would put this, because these were part of the Greetings of the Season dies. that we had, and I would put this little circle on the left, and the reason why is because we're going to put a bow, actually not a bow, a knot on the side of this, and so I would put it on that side so you can cover that up. All right, so we are going to use our Pebbled Path ink, and let me clean off this stamp pad so I'm not mixing our inks. Okie doke. So we're going to use the Pebbled Path ink and stamp So Much Joy on this label right here. So there we go. So fun. I just, you know, we were talking when I went to Onstage last week about how, you know, just seeing the magic of the ink meeting the paper is just so much fun. And, you know, it sounds so simple, but I don't know, at least for me, I just think it's pretty magical to watch that happen. All right, so then I'm going to use some small dimensionals on this one because I want it to go around the ribbon. And the ribbon's already a little bit bulky, so I don't want to try and compete with that bulkiness and make it more bulky. So I'm just going to use these smaller dimensionals to kind of tack it down around that. So let's peel the back of this off. Okay. And then we are just going to kind of center this, but I'm going to make it go a little bit more to the right because we are going to put that knot over there. And then now our dimensionals went above and below the ribbon on each side, which is kind of nice because then it gives you a little bit of separation, but it doesn't make it bulky, so to speak. All right, so now we're going to take our ribbon. So this is one of the things that I like to do sometimes, and I call it the cheater way of doing things, is it's going to look like we tied a knot in here, but we're really not going to. We're just going to take our ribbon, and we're literally going to tie a knot and pull it, and then we're going to trim it. I'm going to trim it a little bit long so that we can cut it to the length that we want it. And then we will take our glue dot, and then this way, everybody thinks that you went to all this effort to put that little bitty ribbon, or I'm sorry, put the ribbon through that little bitty hole, and you didn't. You just simply used, you know, your brain instead of trying to kill your fingers. So, all right, and then we'll trim this one just a little. There we go. And so we have that. So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to stamp another one of these roses in the Lost Lagoon ink. And so with the magic of video, you're not going to have to watch me die cut it out, but you will have scratch paper in there. And like I said, you can either get the die cuts if you would, or if you have the die cuts and die cut it out, or you can just simply fussy cut it out, because this is a nice enough shape that it doesn't have to have a die cut if you don't have one. So we are going, so I already did this, so you wouldn't have to watch me, and we are just going to kind of put this up here. And so I'm going to put a glue dot down here and a dimensional here so that we will have it to where it doesn't, here we go. I was looking for my mini dimensionals, so that it's not super lumpy. All right, and then we will put a glue dot. Grab this. On this side. And then we will just kind of put this right here. to where it does that. And then let's add a few of our embellishments to this. So this time, I think I'm going to use a combination of the smoky slate and maybe a couple of the white ones, just because we have a little more of the pebbled path and the grays in this particular paper. And so I'm going to use that to kind of pull those colors in. And then we'll do a couple more. I'll do maybe one right here. And I tell you what, let's do some of the white ones. They just have a really nice looking sheen on them. You know, they're just kind of pretty. They catch the light really well and all of that. So there you go. There is card number 3. So, all right, so we have one more to go, which is my favorite one of the ones that I put together. And I really like this one a lot. I like the paper. I don't know. It's just fun. So let's get going. So this one is a little bit of a fun fold. So you're going to have a 4.5, and let me give you the exact dimensions so I don't misrepresent, but it's 4.5 by 9 1/4, and then you score it at 5.5. If you do a 4 1/4, if you do it and you just cut this piece off, you're cutting it off at 1 3/4. Let me make sure I'm not telling you wrong. Nope, that's correct. At 1 3/4, and you are going to save that piece and use it, and you'll see where we use this in a minute. So we are going to put this down, and we are going, whoops, helps if I put it the right way, and we are just going to glue this piece of designer series paper, which is really fun, and this is 3.5 by 4. In case you wonder why I keep moving it, it's because my glass mat here has a grid on it, and I'm trying to give you the right measurements so I don't mess you up. So we will put some adhesive on the back of this. All right, and then we will do this. Okay. All right, so before we finish the top part, let's go ahead and do the inside. So we have a piece of white that is 4 by 5 1/4, and then you will have a piece of designer series paper that is 1 3/4 by 4. And so we are going to adhere this to here and then place the whole thing inside. So let's go ahead and assemble that. And this just kind of line up these edges. This is why I like using the multi-purpose glue, because I feel like it gives me a little bit of extra time to slide it into place. All right, and before we actually adhere this in here, I'm going to use, let me grab my stamp, because I thought I had this out, and I obviously forgot to get it. We are going to use the Lost Lagoon ink, and we are going to stamp these sweet little flowers in the left corner. And this is going to be on the inside. But they're just cute. One of the things I like about this set is I just like how simple it is, but yet it's almost elegant. So I'm going to let that dry for just a second. And while I'm doing that, I am going to take the scratch paper or not scratch paper, because that's part of the label on the front. Here's my scratch paper, and I'm going to stamp a wild wheat flower, because this time we're going to switch up our colors. We're going to do a wild wheat flower with the Lost Lagoon leaf. So let me clean those stamps real quick. So here we go. And here's our wild wheat. So we'll do that. And then we will use the Lost Lagoon and stamp a leaf that is really kind of fun. This one is a little bit, whoops, that's not the leaf. This is a little bit different leaf than what I used on the other cards, but I don't know, to me it's almost more of a, almost like a fat leaf rather. Just compared to the others where it had more trim leaves, but this one's a little bit fuller. And so anyway, and of course with the magic of video, it has already been done and die cut. And again, you can fussy cut these out if you do not have the dies. So on this white sheet of paper, we are going to stamp Better Together. So let me grab that, and we're going to put that also in the Lost Lagoon ink. So there we go. And then we are going to adhere this to the Lost Lagoon cardstock that was left over from the edge of this. So, and in case you're wondering, this white piece is 1.5 by 4. So, in case you were wondering about that, I'll tell you what, I'm going to set that off to the side for a second, and we'll go ahead and glue this one down since it's had a minute to kind of dry. So, let's just put a little bit of adhesive back here. Hey, Marianne. I love this DSP too. It's so pretty. All right. So then that is the inside. So now for the outside, let's adhere this, and then we will put our bow on it and kind of assemble the front. So we will do this. There we go. And so before I attach this here, I want to put take your ribbon and make kind of a larger bow. And so, and it's funny because I don't usually make big bows, so this is almost challenging. I think I'd rather do a really small one. Maybe not too small, but a little bit. All right, and see this. All right, so here we go. And then pull this in just a little. Okay, and then I'm going to trim off this other end. And then what I want to do is, and this is the reason I made it a little bit larger, is because I want to put it down here and then attach this underneath here so that it's kind of sticking out around it. So I'm going to use a glue dot just to hold this in place, and then I will adhere my sentiment on top of it. So let me grab a couple of glue dots. And we are just going to kind of put this in the center. There we go. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you can always like change it a little bit as you're putting on the other part. And so now what we're going to do is use dimensionals, but we'll put the dimensionals here and here so that we make sure we don't adhere this to it, because, you know, you want them to be able to open the card to see your message. So let's grab some dimensionals and put on each of these. And then what I'm going to do, instead of putting the other dimensionals right here, is I'm actually going to put them right here so that I don't accidentally put them in the wrong place, because I have done that before. And, you know, it just goes to show it's okay if you make mistakes, but it's also good learning lessons to hopefully keep you from making them again. But sometimes I'm a repeat offender, which is just shows that we always like challenges in life. Oops. Make this a little bit more straight. There we go. I think that's better. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and trim my ribbon a little bit because I feel like it's too long. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Sorry that my hand is over this. And so now it kind of looks like this. So now we're going to put our flower and leaf on here and put it over here. And this is the reason we did this in the wild wheat, is because it's kind of next to the wild wheat DSP. And it just gives you a little bit of a variation. Oops, let's do this side. There we go. And when I'm doing something like this, and I know I'm going to be tucking in a leaf, I usually will just do like a bigger one and put it right in the middle so that it gives me room to slide stuff in on the edges underneath it. So I'm going to use a glue dot for this leaf. And stick this to where it kind of just falls together like that. And then let's use our embellishments. And again, I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon ones this time. And we'll put a few. You can put as many or as few that you are happy with. Sometimes, if I really like the embellishments, I will put a few more. But sometimes it's kind of nice just to put a few too, but we're going to put 5 on this one just because we can. So here is card number 4. Okay. So here are all of the cards that we did today. Let me pull this down so you can see it. Move that out of the way. So we have so much joy, so much joy, so much happy, and better together. So if you have someone that you would like to send these cards to, I think that they would love getting that from you. But to me, the prettiest part of this would be the message that you put inside, which is always fun. So again, if you would like this card kit, please place an order using this host code for $35 or more by Tuesday at midnight. And if you want one of the celebration items that I have left over, if your order is $60 or more, I will include at least one of those. And if your order is a multiple of 60, so 120, I will include 2. And if it's 75 or more, I will also give you the little adhesive pouch. And all of these specials will go through Tuesday, April 1st. And then that will be the end of the adhesive pouches for right now. I did that because March was my birthday month, and I wanted to give you guys a way to get something for the birthday month. So that's always fun. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching either live or on the replay. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. See you next week. Bye for now.